First time I've seen a happier camper in person. They're modular trailers. Got a cool little storage up front. And then these you can lift up and actually pull out and change things around. So let's see, we've got a dinette, a little refrigerator,
Look at the kitchen here.
a little tiny kitchen. Interesting, the cover covers both. That is an itty bitty storage up there.
Not easy to open either.
Well, they're magnetic.
Oh. It is tiny.
And then a little tiny wet bath.
It is small.
And then that's like another dinette.
It is like another little dinette.
Huh, interesting. Very interesting.
No, I think there's some different options.
Here's another one. Got a sink, stove up front. They're separate.
I'm not sure about showering in here, but you know, at least there's room to walk into it.
I think that is your fridge. Yep, there's your temperature control.
Fridge, huh?
That's your fridge. They say small.
This is definitely not a camp for several weeks
You
at a
heard of
time.
tiny homes?
Just for the fun of it, we don't plan on getting one of these, but we're going to look at kind of a lot model, no boundaries RV suite. So you have a sliding glass door coming in into a kitchen area, kind of a kitchen slash lounge area.
This is nice.
Wow, that's a good size fridge.
Yeah.
And freezer.
A little retro look.
Yeah,
Look at the bathroom.
I like the green color in here too. And also in here as well, you've got your TV and storage and a fireplace, electric fireplace. Look at this bathroom.
It's got a washer in there too.
Dual vanities, plenty of elbow room, nice big shower.
Interesting.
And a combo washer dryer. You could put a stacking in here. Huh, I kind of like the light on the bottom of the curtain rod.
Nice.
That's kind of ingenious. So what was it you found?
It's a convection microwave, but it opens like a regular oven.
Interesting.
That's kind of cool. And look at the size of that window.
That is a huge window.
You have some counter space. This is really
And then
lovely.
So the back has got a desk set up right now, but then you have a Murphy bed.
Oh, that's what this is?
This is a Murphy bed. This is your legs for your Murphy bed.
Okay.
And then your Murphy bed comes down.
Cool.
Which we're not going to do. We're at a show and they have stuff set up in here, so we won't do that.
Nice big
So this is your office and bedroom.
Which means you'd have a beautiful view.
And then you've got this really cool back deck.
Which is actually big enough you could put a little chair.
Oh yeah, easily.
This is really cool.
I guess if we ever have the money to buy some property out at the coast, we might just have to buy something like this.
It's on sale for like $48,000. Yeah.
We found what we think is a new model. I can't find it in their brochure. This is the R-Pod RP150. You walk in, you actually have a lot of counter space. A lot of counter space. Fridge is down below the counter. I do not see a freezer in it. There's a secret to opening the microwave, and I don't know it. I think, yeah, that is a convection microwave. You've got a 2-burner stove.
Front to back, which is nice.
Yes. That sink looks like the same size sink we have in our R-Pod. Kitchen or storage below the sink.
And there's storage below. Ooh, the microwave.
And then back here, we've got the couch, and there's no slides on this. A 2-person bench dinette, and then the bathroom.
It does. This folds down.
In the back.
People should do forever.
You've got a full shower and a medicine cabinet. They must have watched our video. And then you've got some elastic storage and storage here, along with your foot flush toilet. And then this actually folds down. I know this is a show, but we're going to play with this a little bit. Comes out. Should we just make it?
Might as well try.
That folds down there, and that folds down.
And I assume the cushions would go on the back there.
You could put the cushions on the back.
I wonder how big that is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Where's our
Tape measure?
tape measure? So it comes out to be 52 inches wide and wow, I would
70?
barely fit. So if you go mattress to mattress, it's 5'9", but there is a little bit of give front to back. That would be a tight fit.
It is a small bed.
Definitely a small bed. And that folds up. This goes in like this. Huh. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Well, welcome back to our R-Pod 192. You'll see me bundled up here a little bit later, stocking cap, nice thick coat. It's been winterized, it's winter here, there's snow on the ground. But I also know in the last video we hinted and mentioned a Tidewoods. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what is going on with that and why we are possibly looking at not having our R-Pod. For starters, just to get it out of the way, is we love our R-Pod. If the Tidewoods does not work out, I have got no issues whatsoever keeping this R-Pod and continuing to camp with it. This thing has been with us through a whole lot. We've had it up to Alaska. We bought it in Texas on our way home from our big trip in 21. And yes, we've had some issues with it. We've had one of the bases of the table leg come off and I had to put different bolts on it. The fender flares aren't, or the inner fender wells you can see there underneath the table, they're not sealed very well, and when you're going down a dusty road you get a lot of dust in here in the trailer. The trim on the front door is coming off. I need to reattach that. There's little things, but the vast majority of things have worked out really well. We love our front window. We love the fact that it opens like it does. I mean, this trailer has worked out super well for us. It's amazing how much storage is in here. It's been a really, really nice trailer. But so let's talk a little bit more about the Tidewoods. So when we started our trip in 2021, going all around the country, 41 different states, it was a great time. In fact, you can go back and look for our playlist on that. I'll try to link it in the description, though I'm not very technologically savvy, so I may not be able to do that. We started that trip out with a Rockwood Mini Light, and that Rockwood was a good trailer. I am not a super experienced RV tower, and it was well within the weights of our Ford F-150. We got the max tow package on the F-150, and it says we can tow something like 11 or 12,000 pounds, which I would never do with that truck. We found while towing that Mini Light, our gas mileage was anywhere from around 7, maybe 8 miles per gallon on average. You knew it was back there. If you were in any kind of breeze or wind, even over 20 miles an hour, which really shouldn't affect it much, you could feel it back there. And I did a lot of talking to Sonia before convincing her to even look at something smaller. And on that trip, we didn't see this model until I think Pennsylvania. It was the first time we found a R-Pod 192, and it took me to Texas to find one cheap enough and convince Sonia to go through with it, and we got it. And this thing was, if I recall correctly, it's 6 inches narrower than the Mini Light. It was several feet shorter in length than the Mini Light, and it was shorter in height than the Mini Light, I think by a good foot. And our fuel mileage went up to 10 to 12 miles per gallon. I mean, we just got back from Alaska, and we had 11.62 miles per gallon for the total trip. And gas is not cheap, so it's nice to have something that's a little easier on the fuel mileage. And there are a few things about this design that, I would like to be able to change, though they do work. Number one, we rarely ever put our bed up and use the couch. We just keep our bed down all the time. There's a lot of other things. So it was actually a couple of years ago I started jotting down plans and ideas on graph paper, and I finally finalized one probably about 1.5 years ago, maybe even a little more. And I nicknamed it the Tidewoods. And it was a 17-foot overall length tip-to-tip trailer. It is 7 foot 2 inches wide. That is for fitting the bed. I want to do a side-to-side queen bed in the back, and I want enough space for a full 60 by 80 queen bed, but I also want to use 2-inch thick foam board insulation for the walls, so the walls will be a lot thicker than what the R-Pod is set at. And then I started looking at what kind of camping do we like to do. So we're trying to build this trailer over what we like to do. And as it progressed, I came up with not only a floor plan, I had done side drawings and end drawings of where the windows would be, the height of the trailer, the angle of the roof, everything. And Sonia was still not completely convinced. So I actually built a 3D model and put tape on the garage floor to make a life-size model out in the garage so we could kind of get to it. And then I went out with a tape measure one day and measured an old boat trailer that I have and realized that this could work. So I did some other looking into things. I talked to my brother, who's an engineer, and we talked about weights and strength needed for the trailer, and I opted to go up one different gauge higher in metal wall tubing for the floor. So there's been a lot of process into this, but the gist of the whole thing that we've been talking about is I've come up with the idea of building our own trailer from the ground up, making it ours. And there's been a lot of planning going into it, looking at the way we like to camp. We like to be in Forest Service campgrounds that a lot of times don't have hookups, or finding dispersed parking areas. On our big trip around the country in 21, we stopped at a dispersed parking area outside of Yellowstone, and it was wonderful. But we didn't have enough solar to keep the battery charged. there's other things that happen. That was back with the Mini Lite. We had a 200-watt solar panel mounted on the roof. So looking at how we like to camp and lightweight. So we like to camp off-grid more. So how do I add things to this trailer to make it more capable of that type of off-grid camping? So some of the things we're looking at is a larger lithium battery pack. I found a single battery that's 460 amp hours, I think, one single battery. We're going to start with that and see if we need to increase that. I want to build a 600-watt solar system on the roof that's permanently mounted to the trailer, along with carrying we have a 200-watt suitcase solar that we could also use on the trailer. Looking at, how do you fit everything? Because they did a pretty good job in here of building storage spots where it's needed. There is one spot in the bathroom underneath the wardrobe that just has the water heater, and I've been in there to improve some of the lines from the flex line to PEX throughout the whole trailer, and there's a lot of wasted space in there that could have been storage space. So there's things like that. But the other thing is again, how do I make things smaller and lighter? Now, I'm hoping, I'm not an expert in any of this, so I don't know, but I'm hoping when I'm done building the Tidewoods trailer that I want to have a gross vehicle weight of about 3,500 pounds, and I'm hoping to be right around 2,000 pounds empty. So that gross vehicle weight will be less than this trailer's empty weight. It will be 4 inches narrower, and I want to say it will be like 8 feet shorter than this in length. Plus it'll be shorter in height. There won't be as tall of a roof on it. So I'm looking at a couple of different things, making a lighter trailer, hopefully having better fuel mileage because of that. And also we're even considering, we haven't done it yet, but we're considering downsizing our truck as well from the full-size F-150 to a mid-size truck. We have not decided on what manufacturer we're going to buy if we do that. But if we did that, go to a smaller truck and a smaller trailer, 8 foot shorter overall length in trailer, that's a lot. And it opens up so much more camping areas when you have smaller equipment. Because if I can build this 17-foot long trailer and the truck is only like 18, 19 foot long by itself, I'm looking at like 35 feet overall from tip to tail of truck and trailer, and that's significantly shorter. Yeah, it should be about that. But how also do we keep modern conveniences in to keep Sonia happy? So I want the battery pack to be big enough. I want a 2,000 watt inverter we already bought and installed in this trailer. We'll be pulling it out and using it in the Tidewoods. And just what can I do to make it as nice and comfortable in the Tidewoods trailer? And building it myself from the ground up kind of opens up a lot of that for possibilities to build it for the way we like to camp. This trailer may not be for many people because it's going to be specifically built, but I'm looking at what can I do to the suspension to make it more smoother ride going down the road. I want a convection microwave in it that we can run off the inverter. Sonia has what she calls her Icky Bakey Face Fixer. It's a sewn fabric pouch, basically a bag that's sewed closed, and it has seeds in it. I think it's actually corn. And you can put it in the microwave, heat it up for a minute, minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, and it warms it up, and then she can put that like on the foot of her bed right before she goes to bed to warm up a nice little toasty warm spot for her feet. Or if she's cold, she can warm it up, put it in her lap, and keep her hands warm with it. Stuff like that we want to be able to use, so the microwave will be hooked up to the inverter. And then also have conveniences. So when we're at campgrounds that have hookups, we can hook it up to the full hookups and work everything as well. I want to do a tankless water heater. Be nice when we're hooked up to full hookups. You could have a nice long shower with it because you're not going to run out of hot water after 6 gallons. Plus, it's lighter weight. A lot of things I'm doing are lighter weight. We're looking at a cassette toilet. We have our own reasons for having a cassette toilet over a tanked toilet. I want to. The other thing is cold weather camping. I want to be able to use the trailer for things like going up in the mountains, going like elk hunting or deer hunting with friends of ours. Sometimes those hunts are in November and it gets cold. The the R-Pod, some of the water lines for the R-Pods run underneath the belly. And yes, we have an enclosed belly, but it is not insulated. So you've got water lines running pretty much the entire length of the trailer that are basically exposed to the cold, because all that's keeping them from the cold is really thin plastic underbelly. With the Tidewoods, I want to try to build everything within the shell that I can so that we can handle those colder temperatures better. I do agree with Josh the RV nerd that there's really no such thing as a true 4-season RV just because the way they're built. Even the Tidewoods, if I can do it the way I want, the gray tank will be mounted underneath the trailer because that's the best for draining the sink and the shower into. And I'm trying to figure out how I can insulate that. We've bought, or we're going to install a heated tank pad that sticks to it. We'll be installing that on the gray tank since it will be outside the trailer. And what can I do to insulate? I want to build a box basically around the tank that is insulated with foam insulation so that the drain lines and the tank are protected by the steel that will be used to build the box, but also put insulation in it so that hopefully we don't have any major issues when it comes to temperatures. So to expound a little bit more on the Tidewoods, it is a trailer that we are building from the ground up. I'm doing just about everything on it. Some friends of mine have helped in the welding or building of certain things, but I plan on doing as much work as I can on the trailer myself, so that number one, that keeps costs down, and number two, I will know this trailer inside and out when it's done, and I will be able to work on it if anything happens to it down the road. I've thought about how I can beef up the frame a bit to hopefully prevent us from ever having the same issue we had with the R-Pod going to Alaska where the frame bent. I feel like we've now been pretty serious RVers for the last 4 or 5 years, and I feel pretty comfortable in being able to look at things and say, that works for me, that doesn't work for me. As you can tell from earlier on this video, we still go to RV shows. Love going to RV shows, love seeing the new things that are out there. Will that change? Probably not. I'm pretty excited to share with you the build. On the next video, I will actually share the plans and the 3D model I built for Sonia, and talk a little bit more about the build process, and then we'll get into the actual build process. And I will put this caveat out a lot, is I am not a machinist, I am not a welder, I am not a carpenter, I'm a DIYer. And I will show you how I am doing things, but take it with a grain of salt and look at it. And if you want to try it, great. But there's many other YouTube videos out there made by people that really know what they're doing when it comes to certain areas like that, and I would strongly suggest going and finding some of those videos, and if it's specifically on welding or specifically carpentry, go and find some people that really know what they're doing, because I'm feeling pretty confident. I mean, I've built a lot of things. I've built the RV cover that our RV's sitting under. I have done extensive remodeling to our house. I've done the electrical and a lot of the plumbing in our house. So a lot of that I am very comfortable in doing, but just because I'm comfortable in doing it doesn't mean I know the right ways to do it. I'll do it my way, and we'll see if that works. But thank you so much for coming along. We look forward to sharing this build process with you, and keeping my fingers crossed that we can have it done by the summer of 2025 and actually be using it in 2025. And if that is the case, we will be putting this R-Pod up for sale. But that is yet to be determined. And again, if something happens and the Tidewoods does not come about, then we will keep this R-Pod and we will enjoy it, because we have enjoyed it for many years now. We've had this thing now coming on 5 years now. So yeah, because we got it in 4 years. We got it in 2021, the fall of 2021. So this coming fall, it'll be 4 years that we've had this trailer. And we've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a great trailer, and we'll continue to use it if the Tidewoods doesn't happen. But hopefully it does. And we'll see you on the next one.